What is going on, everybody? It's Lucky Fan Gaming here, and welcome back to Let's Talk, where we have Conan Exiles going on in the background, so please enjoy this possibly boring footage. I don't know, I haven't really gone through it. It's just a recording I have, and I'm just rolling with it. But anyway, welcome back to Let's Talk, where I am finally getting in touch. Finally getting to touch on a project I've wanted to talk about for a while, and that's the GoldShaw farm. Now, Morgan of the GoldShaw farm has been the center of controversy, and people have been attacking him. The most recent being a breeder he bought a dog from named Abby. If you've never heard of the GoldShaw farm, I really recommend you check it out. It's an amazing channel. I love his content. I love his dedication. I love his enthusiasm. If you've never watched it, you're really missing out. It's basically just about a homesteader who's built his own farm. Like I said, really fantastic stuff. If you're into that, or if you're like me and you think one day you may like to start your own farm, it's a really great channel to watch. He really does a good job of listing out all the advantages, disadvantages, and struggles of running your own farm. So all that being said, guys, let's move on. So like I said, though, all that being said, Morgan is definitely a pushover from the north here, and I am kind of a rough asshole from Texas. Um, and I keep seeing this poor guy. He keeps getting pushed around, and he keeps making soft responses to these accusations. And, well, in my opinion, enough is enough. Today, I'm going to step up and, in my usual aggressive form, defend him. Not saying he really needs it, but I still want to do it regardless. So, I'm also going to fit in a lesson here about manipulators and how to spot them out, and basically just how they work. So today we have two accusations, one of which I will cover briefly because everything is kind of settled down about it, and then we'll talk about Abby and the toxic breeder that all in all scammed poor Morgan. So first let's talk about the hunting situation. Basically, multiple times bear hunters trespass on the GoldShaw farm, and despite signs saying it was a no hunting zone and Morgan politely instructing them to leave, they would return and later cause drama by going onto a podcast and trash-talking Morgan and the GoldShaw farm. My opinion here is simple. These hunters have accused Morgan of not even being a farmer and basically tried to redirect the conversation. Well, in my opinion, anyone that sends dogs into the fray of chasing a bear up a tree so that they can shoot it without retaliation or without it having the ability to flee isn't a hunter. It's a lazy cheater, and one who is openly and knowingly trespassed. It's not your property. No matter how you frame it, you have no right to be there, and Morgan has every right to escort you away. That's simply that. Like I said, they basically they basically tried to say, well, he's not a farmer. As far as I know, farmers have cattle. It's like, okay, well, from where I'm from, that basically makes you a rancher. So if anything, he's a rancher. It doesn't matter. It's not your property. Don't go there. It's really a simple matter. Link in the description below to a video about that whole mess. Morgan will explain it better. I just wanted to throw that in there and throw my opinion in. Now on to the situation with Miss Abby Dog and how to spot a manipulator. A sociopath who is only ever looking out for themselves. The background to this can be found at the GoldShaw channel, link in the description below, as usual. Basically, Morgan bought a new livestock dog for his property that he intended to breed and use as, well, a livestock guardian. Obvious statement is obvious. However, he would come to find that Abby wasn't all she was promoted to be, despite the breeder swearing that she was raised with poultry, that being chickens and ducks, basically birds of any kind. This can also include geese. Evidence would suggest otherwise, namely the fact that Morgan, despite having little issue with his other dog Toby, who definitely was raised around poultry and had a number of... I'm sorry guys, this is the first time I've tried scripting out my content. So I'm actually reading off of a script right now, so I kind of lost my place. Toby definitely His restaurant poultry. Oh, that's right. So basically, Toby, he's had very little issues with Toby, but yet he seems to be running into a lot of issues with Abby. Uh, Namely, the fact that she killed one of his birds. Now, a dog raised around animals like that simply wouldn't behave that way. Furthermore, she continues to chase birds with multiple instances of Morgan having to call Abby off. Furthermore, the breeder basically committed fraud by suggesting a major issue with Abby at birth wasn't a major issue at all. Well, anyone with a brain knows that a hernia of any kind is a pretty big deal, and Abby was born with it. Worse off, it required a surgery at a young age, which is dangerous, and according to multiple vets and looking online, it's genetic. Meaning, if Morgan had bred Toby and Abby as he initially wanted, it would be passed off to the female pups. That's kind of a big no bueno. Let's talk about her, the breeder's manipulative tendencies. Now, I won't pull as much of the article as Morgan did, but we can see here through the title alone just how manipulative tendencies work, and I'll explain as we go. But reading the title, the story of Abby, the Maremma sheepdog puppy whose owner calls her a failure, but whose breeder calls her wonderful. We can see especially evident as her owner her owner calls her a failure and whose breeder calls her wonderful. God, man, that's just so cringy. Basically, from the moment you first hop into this, assuming you had no clue what was going on, you've immediately drawn a conclusion. This is how manipulators work, really. They do their best to hook you instantly, as fast as they can, by a simple sentence when they first open. It's how attorneys work. They open up with a sympathetic situation to immediately begin working the jury to their side. And here in the court of public opinion, that's exactly what's going on. After you're already hooked, you've already garnered an opinion, the argument actually begins, which just stacks on top of your opinion. Ever been in an online flame war where no matter how much evidence you give, the other person refuses to back down? It's exactly like that. One person's opinion is formed, it's very hard to change, which is exactly what manipulators want, and it's exactly what she's done here. She then begins to lie about Morgan and tell tall tales about Abby's quote-unquote poor living conditions, which are completely falsified by her on her blogs. The reality is clear, and you can go see it yourself on the GoldShaw Farms channel right here on YouTube. Funny how in the beginning she was all too happy to receive the positive feedback from Morgan, but as problems began to arise, it was immediately throw Morgan under the bus. That's the arc of a sociopath and manipulator. Happy as long as everything is going their way, but pushing the blame wherever they can, as soon as they can, as soon as it's no longer, bending to their will. This is basically just how people like that work. It's actually a very disgusting nature. Some are conscious about it, some are not so conscious about it. I've known people who were conscious about it. I've known some people who aren't so conscious about it. Some people just kind of do it instinctively. But I would say in this particular situation, through multiple blogs, and even though people have been pointing out, hey, this is kind of dumb, and even though Morgan's side is pretty simple to see here, it's pretty simple to see that he's actually in the right. She promised him a certain kind of dog with a certain level of behavior, and this was not provided. Therefore, meaning that Morgan has basically been scammed out of over, I think he said he's spent a total of like $6,000 by the time he bought the dog for $2,000 and paid to get her shipped from California to his farm in Vermont. That's a lot of time, that's a lot of space, that's a lot of money. I don't have $6,000 laying around. And he spent that on a dog that was supposed to be a certain way. Now, if I had spent that much money on anything that was supposed to be a certain way, I most certainly would be expecting, I hate to say this way, but there's really no other way to say it, product. If I had purchased a product that was supposed to work a certain way, and said product did not work the way it was supposed to, I'd be pretty upset too. And Morgan is a very nice guy. He's been very mature about all this, a lot more mature than I have a tendency to be about these things. Uh, and he's being very nice about it and saying, well, I mean, he's giving her the benefit of the doubt and everything. I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt. She's a sociopathic manipulator who manipulated Morgan from the beginning. She was all too happy to. Most likely, it seems she was all too happy to take Morgan's reputation and use it to increase her her standing, her popularity. And when Morgan was praising her and praising the dog, that was all happy. That was all great for her. It may even promote people to come to her as a breeder and get dogs from her, which would make her more money. But as soon as that stopped, everything stopped. She started initiating the dirty messages. Morgan basically, as I understand it, of course, this is all kind of hearsay. This is what Morgan's saying he did. She says she has a different opinion, but I've been watching the GoldShaw farm for years, so I'm going to go ahead and believe Morgan, because Morgan doesn't seem like the type of guy to come out swinging. But this person, the fact that the only thing I've seen out of her are these blogs, which basically attack Morgan and the GoldShaw farm. I am very willing to believe that she's the aggressor here, and has basically just insulted him on every available situation. She's thrown his name under the bus as much as she can. So yeah, that's how you spot a manipulator. That's the situation going on with the GoldShaw. I love watching GoldShaw. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't, you definitely should. Link to their channel in the description below. I don't think I'm going to link each and every video. I'm just going to generally link their channel and encourage you to watch as many videos as you can, because like I said, if you're interested in getting into a farm or whatnot, watching this channel, it's great. I love it. You should definitely check it out. So all that being said, guys, that's really all I have for you today. I just, the manipulator thing actually hits kind of close to home for me due to some situations in my life. I'm not going to talk about them right now, but I have learned very well how to identify and deal with manipulators. And like I said, poor Morgan, he's just too much of a softie to fight back in the way that I think should be fought back. Of course, it's not my situation. It's Morgan's situation. So outside of tossing my opinion out there, I really can't go any further. I'm not going to send dirty messages to this person or anything, and I'm just going to leave it on my channel, my opinion, my channel, and this is where it's going to stay. But like I said, guys, all that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, consider hitting that subscribe button. I do Let's Talks every once in a while. So I will see you all in another time and dimension, whenever or wherever that may be. Till then, peace out.